Hey, Kyle Querec here, and today was indeed one of the most fun days I've ever had in my life. We have a monster of the industry, and I had no idea that he was touring with Jerry Seinfeld and Dave Chappelle. He's hysterical, and he's the best guy. He is Joel Vulpis, and he's here today on Music Minded. Come on. All right, Joe, question number one. Can you take us back to the moment, and this is vast, I know, but the moment that you discovered music? Was it a player? Was it a song? Was it a memory?
It was my brother, actually. My brother was my older brother was like babysitting me, and he would practice. Well, he never practiced a lot, but I was kind of like the anchor that was tied to him, as my parents, like, they spent money for like 16 to 18 years for him to practice, and I would sit in a corner like like a lamp, and he eventually quit when he discovered girls and everything. And
Right.
but I sat there up until about high school. I mean, I've always played little bits. I never read or anything like that. And after he quit, I missed it. So I started whatever I could do by ear that I learned, I would be playing. And then my parents were adamant about me going to business school. It's like, you're working your ass up, that's it. And but ultimately I did go to business school first, and then my dad gave me the one strike when I went to Berkeley one day from SUNY Albany, and there you have it. But I started early on, but my parents tried to get me to quit. You mentioned Juilliard earlier. My dad actually got me a classical teacher from Juilliard. He's like, all right, if you could stick it out with Dr. Sternclaw, you could stick. And this guy, it was a rough road. He was brutal. I mean,
Yeah, man. I had a Juilliard guy that was brutal. Yeah.
Every phrase, you're playing it wrong. I'm like,
Oh.
But we became the best of friends, and I stuck it out. Yeah, so there it is.
So that's really what kind of started it. The fact he stopped lessons, but you were still kind of enamored with it, developed some kind of thing with a fascination with it. All right, so here's question number two. When was it that you made a conscious decision, and this could have been even at school with doubts, but when that you made a conscious decision that you were committing to it?
Oh no, when I left business school, there was no looking back.
Right.
I never had a doubt in my mind at all. I mean, knowing what I know now, I would have ran the other way. I'm like, oh, fuck her. Now we're good. I'm going to become a gynecologist. There's a lot more fun there. No, it's horrible. Edit.
First great gig, didn't have to be a big paying gig, notoriety, The Garden, Steven Spielberg, but the first time you're doing it as a professional, maybe it's someone that you revere, maybe it's a place that you've always wanted to play. What's the first moment that you said, I am a working musician, I'm doing it?
Cool.
You got to pick one. Was there
There's one, huh?
Really, it has to be important to you.
Okay, the first big check I got. Okay, so, all right. I had got a call after Berkeley. I moved back to New York. Yeah, I was living at my parents'. Everybody was probably.
Oh.
But I got a call to play at this office building for a Christmas party in a lobby. And I was like, my friend said, listen, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. Do you want to play some Christmas songs for some suits, basically, at 7:00 in the morning? I'm like, yeah, great. Drove down to Battery Park, 55 Broadway. That was it. And they paid me like $700. They're like, the last guy charged this much. I'm like, yeah, whatever he charges. I didn't even ask. And I get this check, and I literally didn't open it. I went to Barnes and Noble at the time, next door. I opened it up between the book rack. I'm like, holy crap. And that was when I said, okay, so you can make money doing this stuff. Even though I had the wedding band in Boston and everything like that, it was the first time I actually said, okay, I did my own thing. I got my own check. And then from that gig, they actually had me play. The tenants loved it. Every Friday for 10 years, I played from 9 a.m. to 11:30 in the afternoon, 11:30 in the morning. And it was the greatest gig. Even when I started touring with bands and stuff, it's like, just come back. And I'm like, okay.
You got to give me a hell gig.
I mean, hell experience. So I was touring with Richie Blackmore, Deep Purple and Rainbow. Well, living with Richie is a built-in hell that, again, you got to learn to love it, because he's probably one of the funniest guys to be on tour with.
He's Richie Blackmore, man.
Yeah, until he turns on you and put your furniture out in a snowstorm the night after a gig just to be funny, like, have a good night, and throws your wash towels over the balcony. But somebody died. I never saw a dead person and like that real up close. Like, I mean, I know it's real when they're dead, but we were on tour and one of the roadies just died in the hallway. Like, he just, I don't know.
Heart attack?
No, I think he was doing substance. Yeah, a heart attack, but it was brought on by like Coke or whatever it was. Right. But we're in we were in, I think was it Japan or, I don't even, I think it was Japan or Germany. I think it was Japan. But it was just, the guy died, and I remember going, holy shit. And no one ever discussed it. And only me and about 2 other people saw. I mean, it was the greatest cover up in the world, I suppose. I mean, someone had to deal with it. I don't even think Blackmore knew about it. He might know about it now, but he'll probably deny it. Just he doesn't.
Am I on the episode of Twin Peaks? What is happening right now?
I'm telling you. Well, you said the craziest gig. That freaked me out because like the next day, we get on stage. It was Japan, and we played like 10,000. It was like my first or second gig with him. I've never played in front of that many people. And I used to open up doing this classical thing, and then he would come out. And then I had to wear the Men in Tights outfit, which is the whole Renaissance thing. So, I mean, I had bells on my boots. I mean, I'm coming out going, what the f? Some guy just dropped dead in the hallway last night. Nobody wants to talk about it. We got a concert for 10,000 forfeit people in about 5 minutes. That freaked me out.
This is actually a serious question, even though it's so general. For someone like you, and I'm not just blowing smoke, but I think it's very important. It's not just the people that you worked with. You are the bridge from being completely in the age of complete analog. Maybe DAT tape we started bouncing down to, right? But for the
there wasn't DAT. DAT was a new thing when we were in college. That happened there.
88, 89.
Yeah.
You're right. So you're completely old school through the hybrid school. Through the continuing hybrid school, we can see behind you the great, the SSL, but also obviously for what you've done, complete digital stuff, plugins, everything.
Right.
Media. What is the future for music? It can be culturally, but for you, it could be technologically. I know it's a little blowhard question, but just.
I don't know what you mean. Like, so what's the future in terms of from the artist standpoint or the studio standpoint?
Pick one, whatever you feel you have an answer for.
Okay. Well, this is a green screen. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what happened. No, actually, it all does the same thing 56 times. So, oh my God. Okay. Musically, from a studio standpoint, what we said earlier, yes, you could do a lot. Just about. I mean, it depends on the level you want to go for. You get a great mastering engineer, you could take a great home recording and, probably split the difference. There is, in my opinion, still no final sound when everything that's going to digital especially has the right processing and your vintage Neves and your SSLs and your Manley Vox boxes. I mean, you just learn what units builds the perfect meal. What's the future? Definitely not. I mean, when I bought this, I actually got this from Rascal Flatts in Nashville, the guy that leased it to them. And right when COVID started, again, numbers, I took all the money I had in my E-Trade account and bought Apple. I waited for all the dips. I love E-Trade. And I bought this from buying Apple.
Dude, you're a swashbuckler. Keep going.
Yeah. So I bought Apple and I just I was the guy that had it when that blew up and then it split. And I was going to call this board Apple. My dad, unfortunately, passed during COVID. And that also gave me that, you get that wing of nothing else matters anymore. Do whatever that's an excuse to be as reckless as you believe you need to be and do stuff. I would have never have bought this board in any sound day of my life if COVID didn't exist.
Wow.
And after I bought it, I literally drove home from Nashville in this giant U-Haul going, what did I do? And then after the first record, I mean, this board has paid for itself now 3 times in the last year. I'm among the elite, but I'm not the elite.
Dude, you're playing with the Celtics. That's all I know.
Playing with the Celtics, except I'm the water boy. I'm like, this is HG.
No, that's horse. You are the man. All right, this is a great one. I think you'll dig this one because I think you've probably thought about this without even hearing the question. Here it is.
I got it. Okay.
What would you say? Same skill set, same everything. We're not talking about the C word. We're not talking about what's going on now. What would you say, if all things being equal, to a 22-year-old Joe Vulpis coming out of school, doing it all over again, same skill sets, same. What would you tell that guy to prepare him? You know what's going to happen, but what would you say to that young Joe Vulpis?
Well, I had a conversation with a 20-year-old St. John's psychiatry major, possible client yesterday, referred to from an attorney friend. I told this kid, I said, I listened to his stuff on Spotify. I said, you got a really good voice. Lay off the auto-tune. That shit's over with. You're a decent writer. You don't have a hit. It's not for me to say. If you don't believe me, tell me to go myself. I'm used to it. But you don't. So write the best 2 or 3 songs, because if I pitch it and I try to get your radio, whatever, that's about as far as you're going to get in the door before they say yay or nay. But you got to do it, actually. I joke around. I'm so blessed that my parents said, do it so you don't regret it and you find out what you want.
Amen.
And I told the kid the same thing. I said, but I did tell him the one thing different. I said, but finish school. I said, you're halfway there. I said, honestly, you could write the greatest song in the world tonight. I said, by the time it gets done and all the bullshit and you go out and play the road and, you sign a few bad deals, all this crap. I said, yeah, you would have graduated anyway. So, and then you could treat yourself and you could probably get meds and you'll be fine. But I told him, I said, finish school, do what you love to do. You never want to look back and say, gee, I wonder. And that is truly what I would tell myself if I was, if he rang the doorbell. I might smack him around a little bit.
You know how this is, working with very talented people. Don't be stubborn and don't be an idiot. You're around them for a reason, and if they're the top dog in that room for a reason, you let them go.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course. Yeah. All right. So this is my favorite question for you, Cowboy. This is gonna be a lot. I need your top 3 favorite albums or artists in rock, jazz, and classical. Okay, we'll say that.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Okay, but the one that really intrigues me is your 3 favorite, regardless of if you love the tune or not, we can speak this way, your 3 favorite produced songs.
The White Album, the Beatles.
Okay, that's one. White Album. I'm holding.
You want 3 rock records?
3 rock records, please.
Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic.
Good for you. Bang.
Okay. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Blackmore, but again, it's more about the singles with him, so I really can't pick Machine Head. All right, 3rd album. Well, Billy Joel, I gotta say.
Which one?
Fudge. Stormfront.
Okay, great. Let's move over to jazz. I gotta keep you. You're like a prize fighter, but I gotta keep you focused.
Okay, kind of blue. Yes, definitely. I agree with you.
All right. 2 more.
Bill Evans, Waltz for Debbie.
Absolutely. Good on you. 3.
Berkeley, Pat Metheny's Still Alive Talking.
Absolutely. That man, what's the tune on there? Third Wind, that break that he does. That terrifies.
It's just
every guitar player just went, what just happened?
Yeah.
All right, so now I'll make this a little bit easier. Rather than 3 favorite classical albums, your 3 favorite classical composers, because you absolutely know that stuff too.
Yeah. Bach, number 1, hands down.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. You see, I'm all about the Bach Handel stuff. I would say not Handel, Bach for sure. And all of the 84 kids, they're great. Mozart, without say.
All right, there's 2 of the biggest. Yeah, sure.
The 3rd one's tough. Well, it's more jazzy. But obviously, I love Gershwin's Prelude stuff, but that's jazz. It's like
No, no, no,
classic.
no, 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 no. I like no, no. I like that. I think
Okay.
I knew that you'd have a black sheep like number three. Your three favorite produced songs. I personally think "With or Without You" is one of the best produced pop tracks ever. I mean, sonically, I've never heard a bass that big in my life. The whole
Yeah.
so something like that. Your three favorite produced, and but they can be jazz, it can be a film, whatever.
Okay.
Three.
Well, I mean, Roundabout. It's the perfect song. It's
Uh,
to me, it is.
you,
The
you,
production's incredible.
yeah, you froze up. So you said "Roundabout" by Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Fantastic. Love it. Never saw that coming.
Okay.
You play with Richie Blackmore, so my
I can't pick anything I produced with him. That wouldn't be fair.
yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Well, I didn't produce that actually. I learned that. No, I'm gonna say there wasn't much production to it, but the first single I did with him, which was just all MIDI, percussion, bass, everything I did myself, and 3 tracks of beautiful acoustic guitar, was Possum's Last Dance. And maybe because it was the first legitimate thing I produced, but I mean, I did hire like the best mastering engineer in the world, and
Oh,
Tom Coyne mastered it. And, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. We better get a really good mastering
So,
engineer.
so who was the artist? Say the artist and the song.
Richie Blackmore, Possum's Last Dance, Shadow of the Moon album,
Oh my God.
Tom Coyne,
Number three,
yeah,
big boy.
Love Story. I'm sorry. There's so many. I mean, I worked with the guys from Jason Aldean. I mean, uh, no, man, there's
You
so
know,
many tracks.
I know,
It's
but
going
there's
to be a country track. Okay. Uh, She's Country. That was a Jason Aldean. Great track.
okay. She's country. Jason Aldean is number three. I love it. Didn't see that coming at all. He went from '70s Rushmore to like contemporary touch.
Kendrick
Love it.
Lamar to Jason. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. All right, so here we go. You're going to pick one of these. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and we're almost done, brother. Thank you again for joining us. I want you to pick from one of these categories. Price is right. Sports, food, or travel.
In that order, huh?
No. Pick one of those, and then I'm going to ask you something there.
Oh, food.
But you and I are going to go meet up with some of those people we were on that Zoom call a while back. And we're going to go to New York, and we're going to go down 9th Avenue between 60th and 45th, and we're going to do it 3 Fridays in a row. What is your meal? 3 times. What are those top 3 meals you're going to have, reminiscing and having the greatest time?
What would I pick as my favorite meal to have if we go out?
3
I'm
of
getting Italian food.
3 times?
All right, we'll get Chinese one night and
All right.
Mexican.
Okay.
Italian, maybe Italian, Mexican, Chinese. That's my order.
All right. All right. No, I'm gonna press you because I know you can handle it. What's the Italian dish? What's the Mexican dish? What's the Chinese dish?
Easily. Linguine with white clam sauce. Con vongole. There we go. Extra garlic. I want to basically ward off the vampires.
Yeah.
Mexican, hands down, fish tacos. Got to be great. Soft shell fish tacos.
All right.
Chinese food. I mean, chicken and broccoli is my staple. But yeah, why not?
Number 9. Number 9.
Beautiful. I love how just decisive you are. Well, listen, man, this is number 9, and this is the last question, and we could talk about your resume for 3.5 hours. But did you do something recently? You're gonna do something in the future? What's going on with you?
Okay, so I've got an artist that I just finished writing his single. His name is Brian Hudson. We had a big cut a couple of years ago. It was huge in the LGBT community. We flew all over the place. It was called Habit. We were in Amsterdam, London. We played all over Europe and a lot of gigs in the city. Most recently, during COVID, Gaga hooked us up and we did a bunch of shows while her restaurant was trying to survive and keep going. And we did a bunch of shows, and then we connected with some Live Nation people, yada, yada, yada. Just a combination of the right people in the right room inspired my artist to finish or do another record. And he picked one of my singles called Lights.
Awesome, Joe.
I originally wrote it. I'm proud of this. It's not going to sound that way, but I wrote it for a stripper. No, I'm telling you, about 3 years ago. Look her up. her, I mean, she's beautiful. She could be anybody else.
I'm
Check
not
her out.
looking at
Her
anything.
name is
No.
Destiny Dixon. Nixon with a D.
Oh my
But and
God.
we did it, but she never. I said the greatest promotion should be you should take the song, and every time you come out on stage, I do a I mean, she makes ooplas of money. I never hooked up. It was totally in business, but it was like Caddyshack. I mean, I had the angel and the devil saying, "Just do it, just do it, don't do it."
Oh, for the love
But
of
they paid, and I never mixed business and pleasure.
good
But
man.
anyway, her manager and her ended up having a fallout. That single got shelved for 1 year. It was theirs. I dug it up. I played it for this guy, Brian. We just recut it. And as of last week, we got 6 or 7 media-based stations. We're like #1 in Charlotte right now. I mean, #1 on no chart yet, but in their rotation, we're getting like 5 spins a day. But in about 8 days, a week, so let's say 2 weeks, the single is garnered a bunch of nice big stations, and we just submitted to Sirius, and we're hoping that we can get in that, that regime. We're trying to figure out how to get regular rotations there, because that's where the royalty money is.
Right. Sure.
And that's what we're working on. But yeah, so that's one of my artists. I just finished a children's Christmas record for a doctor who I can't name because she moonlights as a lyricist on the side, and she's in Boca. And we just did a children's Christmas record. I can say that she's part of this Christian ministry, and the 3 songs that I co-wrote and produced for her are going to start airing the week of Christmas.
Wonderful.
And it's part of this whole thing. You'll probably see it on my website, apmusicgroup.com. Sorry, you don't have to edit that. I don't know.
No. Hey, listen, man, we'll have credits for you. I don't know if there's a page long enough to have them all. You stop. I can't thank you enough. You're the best guy. You're a monster talent, yet you're old school. You're Larry Bird, just dropped 40. The next day, all the rookies with the vertical leap come in, and there's the MVP shooting his jump shots before they even got there, and they all just go. And it's because you were around guys like Mark, guys like Dan. So happy.
I was very inspired by you guys. I mean, that's the best education about going to Berkeley. It's who you meet.
Amen. Let's leave it there. Joe, thank you so much, man. We'll be in touch.
Kyle, great day, pal.
Thanks, brother. Who's having fun? Joe's having fun. And you know what also he's doing? He's working all the time. I'm not going to have any more music after this. I want it just to end with my gratitude to him and to you, the audience that's watching this, and hear some stories, some really fun, talented, humble, little nutty people. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kyle Querec. It was Music Minded. Have a great day.